Howdy, I'm Thompson, and this is the first of my stories I'll never write. For an explanation, there's an introductory video that explains this whole point of this. This project, I never came up with a title for it, I just referred to it as Sphered for reasons you'll understand. First off, I've only read a few books of Stephen King's, and to be honest, I didn't really care for them. I didn't read Under the Dome, but I did watch the TV series, but mainly just to know how not to do a TV series. For those who don't know, Under the Dome is these aliens, for some reason, put this big impenetrable dome over a town, and the people inside go crazy, basically. As I watched the show, I thought the idea of, townspeople trapped was an interesting thing. I just didn't care for how they did it. So I thought, well, what would I do if I wrote a story like this? Unfortunately, if you come up with an idea of, an asteroid heading towards Earth, or terrorists take over the White House, or a volcano explodes in a town or something, that's a broad enough premise that you can go in several ways with it. But, aliens put a dome over a town, that's pretty specific. So, while trying to think of a way I could steal the idea without being too obvious about it, I came up with Sphered. What this is, for reasons that may or may not be explained, everyone in the world is encased in this sphere. It's maybe 3 meters in diameter, centered on your center of mass. It's not opaque, but a little cloudy. Sound doesn't go through it, neither do radio waves. And it will pass through other matter. So you can walk through a doorway, open a refrigerator, get something to eat. But when two spheres touch, they don't pass through each other. So everybody's encased in their own little thing. And for people in airplanes, when this happened, these spheres take up more space than the people, basically. So what happened, when these spheres form, the people along the window seats basically got smashed up against them, and when they died, their sphere disappeared, and so there's room for more. So when this event happened, all the people on the window seats are dead, but people in the aisle are, confused, bruised, and surrounded by a bunch of dead people. But not everybody. But these spheres aren't permanent, because if two people, if their spheres, touch, and then they reach out and then they put their hands on where the spheres touch, now you have two people in a little bigger sphere, and this goes on until there's 9 people in a sphere, the size of a small house, and it's still centered on your all center of mass. So if 8 people stand together, one person can go off and they smack up like a mime on the side of it. So that's the basic how these spheres work. There are a lot of kind of stories you can do with this. You know, the popular girl gets stuck in a sphere of nerds. The prison guard stuck in a sphere of prisoners. Just 9 random people on a bus. You know, now they have to live together. And the idea for this story would probably be to just follow several of these groups around the world and how they deal with this weirdness. The one thought storyline I came up with is there's a guy laid off from work who, you know, he sleep on the couch and he wakes up and, you know, why does everything look dingy? And, you know, yeah, like the TV was on, but yeah, he can't hear it anymore. So he stands up and walks in, and it passes into the sphere, and then he hears it. And, you know, everybody's surrounded in spheres and all this. So he tries to call his wife, but, you know, cell phones don't work because radios no longer work. And so he runs off to her, where she worked, where he thinks she's having an affair with one of her coworkers. And it turns out she's already, because once you find out that, you know, you start doing this, not knowing that there's a 9-person limit. So she's in a 9-person bubble already with this guy her husband thinks he's having an affair with. So the story is basically, you know, since sound doesn't pass through, they have to like leave notes, you know, set on thing back up, let the other sphere come in, pick it up, or, you know, landline phones still work. Maybe even the tin cans on a string will work. And so he's talking with her 1 minute, you know, depressed because they're separated, next angry because he's stuck with the one he thinks he's having an affair with, and eventually he tells her she has to kill him so that, you know, there's now only 8 people and he can join, and she isn't up for this. So he starts trying to figure out how to kill this guy. Most matter will pass through these bubbles, but not bullets. Like you fire a gun, bullet hits the thing and then just drops to the floor. So he spends time trying to jury-rig this system of a gun with a camera that's hooked up with a cable and either this long thing so that he can be in a bubble over here and fire the gun in this other bubble. And he tries it out for a while and it doesn't work. He can't get it to work. So then he remembers that his wife is lactose intolerant, so he gets a bottle of milk and puts some rat poison or something in it and leaves it in. So this group gets it, and some other person, you know, drinks the milk and dies. And then he's so happy he wants to join the bubble, and at first his wife won't let him in, but once she does, basically everybody just turns on him and beats him to death. I think that was basically all my ideas for this story. The reason I'm not writing it because it's a fun concept and it's interesting to think about, but it's not really like the kind of story I enjoy writing. So it's fun, but it's not really for me, I guess. In addition, I also have like 800 other projects I need to work on, so this one didn't make the cut. But if you can do something with the story, have at it, just let me know. And hope you enjoy. Someday, hopefully, there will be a second video. It'll be linked here. That's it, I guess. Thanks.